It's a new day with new trouble. The theme today is trouble. And we're focusing on Psalm 107, which is one of my favorite Psalms. I say that a lot, but it really is one of my favorite Psalms. In the Psalm, there are 4 different kinds of trouble that people get into and that they need to be saved from. And we'll talk about those 4 in a couple minutes. But trouble is part of this life. The Psalm starts with this verse. It starts with, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good." And then it introduces trouble. And we have trouble reconciling those 2 concepts together, trouble and God's goodness. The Psalm repeats almost word for word these words 4 times. "Oh, that man would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men." That's repeated in verse 6, in verse 13, in verse 19, and verse 28, following the end of every time there's some trouble. And those different kinds of trouble, and at the end of those troubles it says that men cried out unto God for help. And he hears them. And then we give thanks, because he delivers us out of our troubles, out of our distresses. In verses 3 through 5, the trouble is because of we are just lost in this world. We're hungry, thirsty, nothing satisfies. We're in a desert. The world is not our friend. And we need to be saved from it. In verses 10 through 12, we need deliverance from the trouble that comes from bondage because of our not listening to God. And that is a very common cause of trouble for us. We don't listen to God, and we end up in prison, in jail, in bondage, and we don't know how we're going to get out of the mess we're in. In verses 17 through 18, the trouble is because we've been foolish, or actually been a fool. And the Bible's definition of a fool is a person who acts like, who in their heart, that there's no God. They don't have to answer to anybody. And they get in a lot of trouble for that. We get in a lot of trouble for thinking we don't answer to a God. And then we cry out to God for help, and he delivers us, which is so awesome. I actually get tired of it, both ends of it, of the getting in trouble because I've been a fool, and telling God, I need you to help me. I think you must be tired of me asking for that. And yet he still delivers, he still saves, over and over and over again. And then in verses 23 through 27, it says we get into trouble just by doing business into the world. The trouble of living in this world, of trying to make a living, of the trouble of surviving, the trouble of making relationships. And we get out of one crisis and there's a new one, over and over again. Crisis after crisis after crisis. And throughout the entire Psalm, there are so many great statements about God's goodness to us in the troubles of this world, of our life, of what we get into. It starts, like I said before, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for his goodness, for his mercy endureth forever." We think that sometime God must get tired of being good to us, of showing mercy in our trouble. And that's just not the case. And after God delivers us from each of these 4 troubles, it says 4 times again, verses 8, 15, 21, and 31, "Oh, that men would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men." I'm going to personalize that, paraphrase it. I'm going to put it this way. "Oh, that I would praise the Lord for his goodness to me and for his wonderful works to me." I recommend that you personalize it the same way. Oh, that I would praise the Lord for his goodness to me in my trouble, and for his wonderful works to me. May God richly bless you until we meet again tomorrow.